And there we are. We are live. Another edition of the TigerBait.com post-game show. And I think we're going to have a much more fun and more positive post-game show this Saturday than we obviously did last week. And, of course, we saw why Tennessee deserved all the accolades they were getting. They did it again today against Alabama. But LSU goes to the swamp 45-35. I didn't think what I saw tonight was possible. I know a lot of people were picking Florida, and it was a must-win game for both teams. Of course, a lot has been made of Brian Kelly and Billy Napier, both first-year head coaches, and Napier right up the road at UL Lafayette and could have possibly been a guy that was a candidate on the board in the next group down. But a much-needed win. Now LSU is poised to get where they need to be with a winning record. I think they have a much easier time to get in 7-5 or possibly even 8-4. Had they lost this game tonight in Gainesville, it would have been a lot more difficult. So Jaden Daniels with an unbelievable night, 6 touchdowns, and got a tough test next week at Ole Miss, but we'll talk about that later in the week. But a lot of positives tonight. Obviously, still some special teams issues, but they overcame and they kept grinding and got it done in a hostile environment. So let's bring in Preston Guy to talk about it.
Well, I'm going to give a shout-out to Chance Babin with this awesome comment here. LSU 2, ATN Brothers 0. Nice. Yes.
You know what? Let me talk about that real quick. Look, we all know what happened with his older brother, Travis. LSU didn't offer. They offered late. Trevor got an LSU offer, but it was very tepid. And I think for a long stretch, and I think almost the entire back end of the stretch, did not hear from LSU, the previous staff. And so, you know what happened with the running backs last year? Citizen at Lake Charles Prep, HN to Florida, and of course Moss to Texas A&M. So LSU went 0 for 3. But I think LSU could have got Trevor HN if the previous staff would have kept on him. I think just like his older brother, they questioned him in that Veer offense and made excuses and didn't like this or that. But I think they could have easily gotten him had they stayed on top of him, but they didn't.
Well, and watching the running back room now, it's hurt so bad seeing all those Louisiana guys go elsewhere.
Well, what's really funny is one of the words we got was that part of the reason why LSU couldn't get in on Travis was because he couldn't stand Jabbar Jalouk. Well, Jabbar Jalouk is the running backs coach at Florida, coaching his younger brother. So, and Matt Canada couldn't do a thing at that time. That with Travis. So,
well,
all right, guys.
LSU was slow on Travis. He tore his ACL his junior year, if I'm not mistaken. So they were really slow to the punch with him. So, yeah.
But he came to camp in June, Preston, and ran a 4.3. It made no sense.
Yeah. Well,
all right, guys. That's enough of that, though. Let's. We got a big win tonight to talk about, and of course, we're brought to you by Kenneth P. Haines, attorney at law. We're going to talk about Kenny a little bit later in the show, and he's a vital cog in what we do here. And we had a record-setting show last Saturday. And I think we're going to have another big view tonight. If you're enjoying this show, please hit that like button, share it to your Facebook, share it to your Twitter, share it in the LSU groups that you're a part of. Much appreciative when you guys spread the word about our TigerBait, all of our shows on our TigerBait YouTube channel.
Yeah, no doubt. So look, guys, I'm gonna tell you, this was a swing game for LSU coming into it. You really needed to get this one. You really needed to get it. Not for bowl game's sake or anything like that, but it was up in the air. And I think a lot of the games down the stretch, they're going to be much less close than this one. I don't think you're going to be close to beating Ole Miss. I don't think you're going to be close to beating Bama. I think you're going to you should securely handle Texas A&M and, teams like UAB down the stretch.
A&M gave Alabama all they wanted.
No doubt.
It's always tough to win.
I'm still not convinced. That was with
it's tough to win at Arkansas. And so if you didn't win this one,
no doubt, but this one was the one where you seemed to be most closely matched, right?
Yeah.
That's where I'm feeling about it. So, you really wanted to get this one, not to mention it's always good to get wins over Florida. Now you've got 10 of the last 13 over Florida. How about that? You've tied the record. The all-time series of Florida is now tied 33 all.
I
with
remember,
3 ties.
I remember particularly in the '90s where it looked like that would never happen because
Oh,
they
yeah.
were they were rattling off wins, and so
I mean, LSU basically didn't beat Florida in the 90s.
yeah. Drew Boogie, LSU owns the swamp. It's Death Valley East at this point. And Drew, let me tell you something. Brian Kelly, all about, but said it. He was alluding to it, and then it looked like he kind of backed off a little bit because, but he was kind of saying in his Monday press conference that going on the road, he's seen his team focus. And I mean, is there a chance that this LSU football team actually plays better on the road than it does at home?
Well, if you use your last 2 weeks as a sample size, did you know this is the first time in program history LSU has beaten Auburn and Florida on the road?
That's a crazy
That's
stat.
remarkable. That's a crazy stat. But if you think about it, a little bit of it makes sense when you dig into it. LSU's crazy good years, 03, 2011, 2007, 2019. Those are years where they play those teams at home. Okay, the years where those teams have been good. Think about this. To end the 2000s, when you went to those teams on the road, they ended the back end of that decade winning championships. 06, Florida wins the championship. 08, Florida wins it again. 2010, Auburn wins it. So
03,
it kind of makes sense when you start looking at it like that. Like
03,
just coincidentally.
03, Chris Leak came into Tiger Stadium and upset LSU. The only blemish on LSU's record that
19
year.
19-7.
Yep. Okay. Let's run through a bunch of these. Drew Boogie, BK is the first LSU coach to win at Jordan Hare in the Swamp. Just what we were saying. Good job, Tigers. Micah McDougal. Fire 3449. Mike, how fast can the Golden Band from Tigerland learn to play Rocky Top? Yeah, look, that was an awful game for LSU last week. But Tennessee obviously is the real deal, and I think it's a positive.
Did you see the Golden Band clapping with their shoes?
Yeah,
took their shoes off and started clapping. Florida's band was playing the Game of Thrones theme, but I thought they should have.
But Tennessee,
toward the end of the game, they probably should have been playing the Red Wedding theme.
Tennessee is the real deal,
no doubt.
Why was Jack Besh in street clothes? What was that tweet from Jacques earlier?
Well, he just tweeted a video of them walking off, but I think you said
no. He said that what BK explained what it was in the post game. I thought you had looked it up. Hal Jubin, LSU Tigers on TigerBait. How about them Tigers? Yeah, the muff by Besh, says Drew Boogie.
Jack Besh has a strain in his lower back. Is what
strain? Okay, and that's something that he's been dealing with.
Yeah,
off and on for a while. He's had back issues. And that's
there it is.
There you go.
Thank you, Hal.
Yeah. Hal's with us on a lot of our shows. Hal's a good guy. Alley Boy, let's go. Yeah, there. Okay, I'm getting some of these are a little old. Let me scroll down.
They only had to wait 40 minutes for you to do the pregame prep.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm scrolling down. I'm gonna get to some. Oh, look at this one.
Thanks for joining the show, Glenn.
Yeah, but that's obviously a parody account. BK1 Napier 0.
Start spelling his name with an H at the end.
You guys let me know if y'all want me to get Glenn Gilbo on or
I will bring him on my show this week. I will ask him to come on.
Andy Whitaker, I know it sounds like a stretch, but when I said JD can be the second best quarterback since Jamarcus Russell tonight is what I was talking about. Well, I was saying that earlier in the season.
Is he better than Mettenberger, though? I'm not telling you. He's not better than Mettenberger. Come on.
I think what he can do in a game.
Dude, Mettenberger could sling it, man.
He's got to get better. He's got to have consistency with the intermediate and the deep passes. If he throws the ball like he did tonight the rest of the way, you really have a discussion about taking Burrow out of the mix. When you start talking about the quarterbacks in the last, if you want to throw Matt Flynn in there, if you want to just Justin Jefferson, Mettenberger, we can have that. But I think you need a few more games like tonight.
Let me tell you
Not
this,
where he has to have
tonight-
6 touchdowns, but he needs to be able to throw the ball.
Tonight, he was the most decisive he's been. That's been his number one problem, is he's been so indecisive. Those legs have been such a good insurance policy. He's been wanting to cash that check so early that it prevents his ability to find open receivers downfield. Well, tonight, he did the best job of that, and we saw Besh pop off with 100 yards, 116. That's the first time he's had 100 yards since Auburn of last year.
Eric DeLion, please stop with all this looking at it in a more negative light. Let's talk about everybody did that was good and great. Come on. Yeah, look, there were a lot of positives. When you looked at that box score at halftime, it really showed you everything. I mean, the box score at halftime with the muff punt and then the punt return.
Yeah.
You pull that out, and LSU should have been up 3 scores at that point.
No doubt. Did you see the super chats? Got me cracking up. Dane Bergeron. Here, I'll pull it for you. Yeah, there you go. Had to screen that up a little bit.
Yeah, Dane will be real excited if you have Glenn Gilbo on as your guest.
Yeah, I brought him on the show.
But he might actually like it if you're going to bring him on to roast him. So
yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
But if you get Glenn on, it needs to be a deal where he's willing to let you do a version of mean tweets.
Oh man, that's a really good idea. I'm gonna mean tweet the hell out of Glenn. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna text Glenn as soon as I'm off this show. I'm gonna text him.
Yeah. Thanks for the super chat, Dane. Big time.
Another one. Pull it up there.
Tari Love, damn, Preston, stop cutting people off mid-sentence.
I'm pulling a Mike Scarborough tonight, huh?
Yeah, he's done it to me 3 times already.
Yeah, okay.
Jaden Daniels is better overall than Mettenberger overall. Mettenberger was a statue. He was the player of the game tonight. Okay, if you want to say Mettenberger versus Daniels, what was Mettenberger's best single game in his career at LSU?
Probably.
And if you would compare that to Daniels' game tonight, total performance, does Mettenberger have one at LSU that was better than Daniels tonight?
I mean, the Georgia game was an absolute shootout. He probably had 350 yards just like Daniels did, but of course Daniels has those 6 touchdowns. But Florida's defense isn't exactly.
I tell you
stellar.
Look, what Besh happened tonight with Besh and special teams, and this team fought the entire game. They did not give up. They didn't blink. They were having fun. Jaden Daniels was loose. The whole football team looked loose. And I don't know what to say, what that means, what kind of week of practice they had, what the pregame meal was. It was maybe different. I have no idea. But whatever they did, if they know exactly what they did or what that recipe was, they need to see if they can replicate it the whole rest of the way. But again, BK kind of said it on Monday. Is this maybe a team that plays better on the road than they do at home? There are teams that can do that. They go on the road and they're more focused. You can be more focused and more relaxed at the same time. You're not worried about all the tickets you need to get for family members and them wanting to see you come down the walk and having to talk to them after the game. You don't have to deal with all that stuff when you go on the road.
I don't know about that one.
And then after the way they played last Saturday, it was probably what the doctor ordered for them to get on the road, to get away from it all. I'm just tossing stuff out there.
Maybe it was just that they weren't playing at 11 a.m. and had to wake up at 7 a.m.
Yeah, but the other team had to play at 11 a.m.
Yeah, no doubt. But, I mean, we're talking about some South Louisiana boys now.
Absolutely. Dane Bergeron. Daniels is playing in a better offense than Mettenberger. Miles' offense were junior high quality.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Miles did not do a good job of putting those guys in position to be studs. That offense should have been way better than it was.
Yeah, and I don't know what this means for Florida the rest of the way. And certainly going to Auburn, going to Florida, how good are those two teams? Like someone I just read in the chat said. But still, this is good for a confidence deal, but your confidence is surely going to be tested next week with Ole Miss. Waiting on Brian Kelly post game video. Oh, Danny girl, I'm going to have that up as soon as I get it. I'm waiting to receive that now. In fact, I just got the link, so good stuff. Anything else you want to mention, Preston?
I got a lot of notes for tonight. I'm kind of just waiting to get through them here. Waiting to see if we could naturally get them. I mean, I'll tell you what, those muff punts is a stark reminder to me that what this roster was before Brian Kelly got his hands on it. Because you tell me there's not a guy on this team who can just safely, securely field punts? Because we were talking off air. If it's a coaching problem at this point, the only way it's a coaching problem is, are they not vetting the right guy to go back there and return punts? And you think there's no way they haven't vetted every guy who can return punts, right?
Yeah, there's just no way that, you mentioned Sage Ryan while we were getting geared up to go live. Look, I'm sure they've tested Sage Ryan and many others. They know who's what each guy is liable to put the ball on the ground out of 20 punts sent their way. They know the 40 times of each guy, which guy's going to make the right decision if his back foot is on the 8-yard line or the 12-yard line. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it. So I just don't believe that there's some guy who's caught every punted his way and has 4.4 speed that they're just sitting on and not letting him get an opportunity. I tell you what.
And look, I don't want to comment on that, my angle, because I just don't know. I'm not at practice. It seems like something that would be easy to do. And if you aren't, it's utter incompetence, and you should be fired day one if you have not vetted every guy already.
Guys, this show every week is sponsored by our dear friend, attorney Kenneth P. Haines up in Shreveport. Let's go ahead and hear from Kenny real quick.
Board-certified family law specialist Kenneth P. Haines is a highly skilled and experienced trial and appeal attorney with over 33 years of experience solving real legal problems for real people, specializing in all aspects of family law, divorce, support, custody, and property. Your standards are high, so are ours. For representation in Northwest Louisiana, call attorney Kenny Haines at 318-222-2100.
And of course, Kenny is the unofficial official lawyer of TigerBait, TigerBait.com, and he reserves the right to think most clearly for a paying client. And very valuable on our message board. He's a Tiger Shark on TigerBait.com, and got a lot of great discussion during the game tonight, and we have a lot more tomorrow. And got some good recruiting stuff coming your way. Last night I was in St. Martinville. Southside played their home game in St. Martinville and hosted Sulphur. And got a lot of good stuff with John David LaFleur, class of 2025 tight end. Of course, his father was David LaFleur, one of the best tight ends in LSU history, a first-round draft pick by the Dallas Cowboys. And so I'll have that for you on Monday, that some really good exclusive stuff I shot on him Friday night. Look, I think LSU ran the ball well tonight. I think the offense, obviously, you kept wondering at some point if the offense was going to all of a sudden bog down and have multiple drives consecutive where they didn't get it done, and you were worried if it was going to get into a score matching deal like you saw earlier in the day between Tennessee and Alabama, that they would start to falter, and it just never did. Obviously Florida ran off and had a nice third quarter and made things extremely interesting. But when they had to, that LSU offense got uncorked in the fourth quarter and got it done. And, I will say, I know one of the guys earlier said not to get negative, but I don't know what to make of Jay Ward tonight with the
man. He's an absolute playmaker, but he's a bit of a liability. I mean, he had 2 personal fouls and they were both kind of boneheaded plays. You could do some lip reading on Kelly until he wasn't happy about it.
No.
Thank God. The defense struggled tonight. Man, offense just bailed him out, man. Have you ever seen an offense score on 6 out of 6 drives like that? That was wild.
Absolutely. Huey Lipsy with a super chat. Thank you, Huey. He says, great win, guys. Go Tigers. Absolutely. like we said, this is one. I mean, that was the title of the show that I had Wednesday night with Sanji was, what a shot in the arm or a much needed win for LSU, however you want to phrase it. And they got it done. And now, having a winning record and getting to a bowl and beating the expectations of a lot of people is a lot easier to get done with this win. Had they lost tonight, who knows how they would have cobbled together some wins to get to 7-5, or can they get to 8-4? What can this do? And then you start getting some guys healthy. You have wins like this on the road, and you have a locker room. Some of the scenes we saw and the players down on the field can do wonders for a team coming together and starting to believe in what's in the system and what's being taught to them. And Keishawn Butte having the night he had tonight is a
Huge.
positive.
Huge.
So,
and he was singing the alma mater. Brian Kelly wrapped his arm right around him to show, hey, we're good, buddy.
Yeah.
Tackling was a problem tonight, though. I'll tell you what. It seemed like those guys were going for the strip way too much.
Richardson's 81-yard run was
a joke. That was
there was 4 brutal non-tackles, missed tackles, lackadaisical effort tackles, however you want to. I mean, but he's a big dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's an elite runner, no doubt. No doubt.
Absolutely. Andy Whitaker with a big super chat. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate you guys. Best LSU show in town. Use this to get Preston some better internet.
Am I lagging out? So I know my mic was a little low to begin the show. I have like settings in the backstage, and they got reset before the show. And of course, I rely on Mike for quality control here. I'm like, Mike, do I sound good? And he's like, good. Yeah, Dan, you sound great. Well, Mike lets me down as always. But I'm used to this.
What Preston does though is, we say, you ready to go live? And then he realizes, I forgot to put my headset on charge.
I've done that once. I did do that. And then
he likes to play hacky sack with nice equipment.
I got a broken Osmo up there. I could show him.
He's broken 2 Osmos. We've had to send him off to DJI. Believe it.
Look, man.
Butterfingers, man.
Easy there.
You had no chance at being a tight end. Andy Whitaker, Mettenberger's most productive game was Georgia in 2013, went 23-37, 372 yards. Right. I'd rather have JD from tonight. And I'm with you, Andy. It was very good to see Jaden Daniels having fun.
By the way, Jaden Daniels tonight, he's now throwing 10 touchdowns, 1 interception on the season. So he's having a good year.
Tiffany Sunwall, that Harold Perkins for Jacoby Matthews trade looks pretty good right now. Well, we've seen that several times in the last decade, haven't we, Tiffany? Hootie Jones, Jamal Adams, and Harold Perkins, Jacoby Matthews. Just need to get Harold Perkins out on that field a lot more, because when he's out there, stuff happens. The comparison is going to be a little bit of Devin White, but I dare to say, does he have a little bit of Tyrann Mathieu in him?
Well, I'll tell you this. That should have been a strip sack he got. I did not see his arm coming forward. He had 5 tackles tonight, all solo, all unassisted. The dude just runs on a different level from the other guys on the field.
Preston, you want to run through some comments real quick? I'm going to let you talk a bit.
I sure can. What, you got to upload?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let's see. Look, I saw this one a little bit. Von Bluesman. Preston, you're a new dad, aren't you? Not yet, guys. Not yet. It's looking like next Monday. Not Monday, but the Monday after that. Let's see here. All right, I do want to talk about this. USC and Bama lose. Tigers win. Great Sunday. Shout out Tennessee, man. Look, it's good for LSU because now that blowout, you're starting to see Tennessee's a much better team than you thought, guys. In my opinion, based on resume, based on what the teams have actually accomplished, Tennessee's your number 1 team in the country. And that's actually not really debatable based on what they've actually accomplished. You can say, well, Georgia's the defending champs, and if that's what you want to go off of, that's fine. You do you. I'm just going to tell you, resume, it's Tennessee. So I love it. I love to see it. How about the someone commented a little bit about Notre Dame. Notre Dame losing to 1-4 Stanford tonight, y'all. I love that one. Notre Dame now moves to 3-4 since Kelly accepted the LSU job. By the way, Kelly in his last 50 games at Notre Dame, 44-6. So they're on pace to lose that many games in his first season. Woo! Gotta love it. Can't do that with a baby. I don't know what you're talking about there. Let's see here. Do you think LSU has a good shot at getting Derek Williams? It's going to be tough to wrestle him away from Texas, but they're going to try.
Derek Williams, by the way, watch out for Alabama on him. If you watch the exclusive interview I had with him, I guess that was 3 Fridays ago when they played. I was at St. Martinville. I can't believe I've been at St. Martinville 2 of the last 3 weeks. But I get the feeling that Texas needs to be real worried about Alabama. So
that's been the word on the street here.
Run through a few more, Preston.
No. People were saying my mic volume was low again. I was just playing with it while you had him there. Someone's saying Perkins reminds him of Kelvin Shepherd. The comp I've heard is Devin White. Everybody says Devin White.
Well, he wears 40. He looks like he's going to be the next future first-team All-SEC, All-American linebacker. We all know that he was a great running back. I think if he wanted to be, he could be the best running back on LSU's football team. And Devin White was also a running back. But when he gets in the backfield, when he gets after the quarterback, the ball strip tonight, that's a little bit of the honey badger aspect that I brought into it.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's just – he's that kind of athlete. He makes things happen. Absolutely electric, and the sky's the limit. What is this kid going to be like when he's got when he's got a full grasp of everything that Matt House wants him to do at that position, and it's second nature for him. I'm sure his head is swimming a bit right now, and it doesn't look like it. So certainly the coaches will see things that we don't see when they grade him out. But I don't see where there's anything that's going to when you start talking about the freshmen on this team, Taylor, of course, look, Cole Taylor had a really nice reception night. I think one of the best receptions in his career at LSU. But obviously the two tackles, Emery and Will Campbell, Harold Perkins. There's a lot of young talent on this football team that I think are going to be some of the most awarded preseason awarded kids you're going to find.
Admittedly, Emory Jones got work tonight at times. He had a rough night, but that was a very aggressive rush on his end.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, but stuff like that's going to happen.
Right. No, he's a true freshman. I've been telling people all year long, there are 2 very talented freshmen out there. Take your lumps. Take your lumps and roll with them because they're going to grow and you're going to be better for it. First 4-win streak against the Gators since 77-80. Dang, man. Mike, you remember that?
I don't.
I wasn't born. I was a long time away from being born.
I remember a tie. Of course, their 84 season, they were on probation that they always drone on and on about. But they've been a whole different animal post Spurrier and then post Urban Meyer. And then you start to wonder, when you see what they have tonight, is Napier going to be another Muschamp, McElwain, Mullen? Is he going to be in a long line of those, or is he going to be the guy that's going to break out and be their next great coach in the vein of Spurrier and Meyer? I have my doubts of that.
Who do you think will start next year?
Now Tennessee's on the ascendance. Of course, Georgia. You got Stoops in the East. All of a sudden, the East has gotten a lot more interesting.
Yeah, it has.
And that's because of Tennessee. Now, when Oklahoma and Texas join the league, and if they do away with divisions, it's kind of a moot point. But I think had you not added Texas and Oklahoma, if you were staying to a division format, I just think period it's great. You need a Tennessee to be strong. Yeah. It's better for the SEC if they're strong versus weak.
Yeah, I say to hell with the divisions. Give me the pods, man. Like, these divisions have been trash for years. Look, next year, do you see Howard and us, or is there somehow Daniel sticks around another year?
Yeah, I look, if he has some more games like that, or some that are similar, he might not have another game like that tonight. But if he has some that are similar and he performs well against some of the upper echelon opponents that LSU's got coming up, I think he heads out in the draft. I think that.
Did you know the only two quarterbacks in LSU history with 6 touchdowns are now Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow? That's an insane company. I do know the game plan for Jaden Daniels is to go pro after this year. That's what he wants to do. We'll see. He obviously there's been some.
That was the discussion when he was talking with LSU before he signed.
Right, exactly.
That's what he wanted to do.
Exactly. That's the plan, right? Obviously his play at times hasn't been good enough, but ultimately we're sitting at a quarterback who now has, let's see, after 350 he had on the year he had about 1,200 yards. Now he's got 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. Maybe some team takes a shot on him, especially in the late round. So I would say if he continues to play like this, he will be gone. I think me and you are both on it's Walker's team next year, right?
Well, look, we can say that all we want. There's still going to be some competition. We don't know what Nussmeier will do. Does he stick around, or does he hit the portal as soon as this regular season is over? I don't know. Does he compete in the spring? Is he there? Does he wait to see how things play out in the spring? Nussmeier's a pretty confident kid. Does he feel like he can beat Walker? Of course, you'll have Ricky at midterm. But I've kind of felt that the scenario probably is that Jaden would go pro. Then we'll see what happens with Nuss. I've always felt that Walker would be the guy that would win the job. And if he would do that, I would think it would be logical that Nuss might hit the portal. And so that makes me think either way, LSU is going to need to go in the portal to get a transfer quarterback. Because
but Mike, who's going to come in to transfer behind freshman starting quarterback Walker Howard? Don't you think that's an odd? Like, I don't think they're going to get a guy who's talented. You're going to be talking about pulling in ULL's quarterback or Southeastern's quarterback. You're not pulling in a quality dude.
Yeah, you're not going to go get a guy who just got beat out barely at Ohio State with that setup. No,
you're not going to get a Joe Burrow or a Jaden Daniels or anything crazy like that. We're going to be talking about, some bottom of the barrel. You're going to be getting Southern's quarterback who wants to prove he can do it at a bigger level or something like that. If
that scenario would play out the way I just said it, you would want a guy with some maturity, maybe a year of eligibility left. But it would be a tall order, because if guys are in the portal, they're in the portal because they want to go somewhere where they know they can win a job.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You don't get good portal quarterbacks to sit behind Walker Howard. You're just not going to get one. So
the flip side of it is, that's why you have competition. I can think Walker Howard's a guy all day long, but Nussmeier might think, you know what, I'm.
Oh no, they're both going to be on the roster for spring, no doubt. They're going to duke it out. But I think we can both agree the loser of that battle he's out.
Yep.
I don't think either one wants to sit behind the other. Obviously, Nuss would be more. Oh yeah, lots of good comments. Someone's asking me, should I drop Brian Driscoll back on? You know what? I hope he's happy with Marcus Freeman.
What is Notre Dame's record right now?
They're 3-3, Mike. They just lost to 1-4 Stanford. So Brian, coming up in here talking all over me. I was nice to you. All that. I hope you're happy with Marcus Freeman. Brian Kelly's got LSU 5-2 after having 39 scholarship players. Have fun, bruh. Have fun. All right, moving on. Jaden Daniels will start next year if he's here. If he's here.
Yeah, what do you think the line's going to be for Ole Miss?
Ole Miss -8.
I was thinking 8 or 9.
Yeah, -8 Ole Miss. I'm typically, just right over a touchdown. Who has the stronger arm, Walker or Nuss? I mean, Nuss, right?
No.
Walker's not an arm strength
yes, he
guy.
is. Yeah, he is.
He's very, very accurate from what I've seen. I mean, Nussmeier has arm talent for days, but I feel like the underneath stuff, Walker has more zip.
The velocity distance is going to go to Walker Howard.
But who do you think throws the ball further?
Walker. And he's also he's the fastest of the quarterbacks except for Jaden, and I wonder how close that would be.
I love these comments, man. Brian Driscoll blocked me. If you're not blocked, please go troll him. Oh boy. Mike, I'm gonna let you take over the comments because I'm not mature enough for it tonight.
Yeah, Ole Miss favorite, absolutely. I agree with Preston. He said 8. I think it could be 8 or 9.
Oh, and I don't think LSU covers either. I think Ole Miss will beat LSU by a lot.
Okay, well you're setting yourself up to get
No, I just think like 14, 17, something like that. I mean, they're a good team, man. I mean, just set your bar reasonable with LSU. Brian Kelly's done a great job to get them this far, y'all.
Agree, but just my thinking, Jaden needs to sharpen his skills a bit, and then he'll be a top pick. He has the speed, the running at 20. But see, he's now played how many years? How many at Arizona State this season?
Well, this will be his 4th year. Yeah,
you're right. I mean, at this point he is what he is.
Right.
Okay, and so I ask you tonight. I know it's crazy talk because of what he's done in the NFL, but Jaden Daniels tonight versus a certain Ravens quarterback that LSU faced in a bowl game.
Look, man, I hate comps like that because, look, Jaden Daniels has been very good. You're comparing him to a Heisman winner. It's
did
so
he
hard.
Did he look like that against LSU?
Wait. I'm sorry. Pause. Did he look like Jaden Daniels? Did he look like what against LSU? A Heisman winner?
Yeah.
No,
he did not.
No, he didn't. Not at all. But LSU's done that to a lot of guys.
But there was some knocks on him. Okay. I think Jaden Daniels, he is would another year at LSU make him anything that he's not now? I don't know where it moves the needle for him. So I think he goes no matter what.
Really? No matter what. So if he struggles down the stretch, he's not going to take a year.
I think he's going to go.
I mean, look, I do know that's what his heart and mind are set on, and that's hard to overcome. And look, a stat line like 65% complete and 10 touchdowns, 1 interception, that'll get it done. You'll be at least a 4th or 5th round pick. If not like 3rd or, he's done some good things, y'all. In fact, if I'm the Ravens, I'd be very interested in bringing him as a backup quarterback. I'd love him as a backup for the Ravens.
Yes. Kyron Lacey did have a good game. He had a couple of receptions, I think 17 or 18 yards, Chance Babin. And I know a lot of people down south Louisiana are excited about Kyron.
By the way, I think I saw him hugging what's his name post game. It was number 2 hugging him. Someone let me know, was that Garner or was that Kyron Lacey hugging Napier after the game?
I'm sure it was Lacey. Or it might have been both.
I was about to say, didn't Mecky Garner play for ULL? They both wear number 2. It's tough.
American Patriot. Josh Williams is the real deal. He ran like Clyde tonight. I'm a fan of his. And he had some tough yards, man. He had some tough yards between the tackles. And, I mean, look, when we do post-game interviews and when we get him for interviews during the week, I mean, Josh in street clothes isn't the biggest guy. He's not going to blow you away and pass the eyeball test. And, I mean, he got some tough yards tonight. He was driving his legs, some hard-earned yards for him. Trucking with Casper, Walker Howard will start next year. It's not even a debate.
Oh, he's got to earn it. It's a debate. He's got to earn it. Like he's not just going to go out there and, walk out and Take it.
5 million facts. LSU is overachieving this year, in my opinion. Great coaching with what they have.
I don't disagree. I don't.
C-Man, CUC, Jaquelin Roy, will he be a high draft pick?
I don't see it. What's a high draft pick? Like top 3 rounds?
You know, is he a guy that would go lower than a 4th round?
I think he is a 4th round pick. I'm gonna go right in the middle there.
But with his measurables, and I know everybody's looking for sacks, but with the type of offenses that LSU faces each week, sacks are hard to come by. And I know Brian Kelly's been blown away by some of his game performances. So, but when they see him physically in the eyeball test and what he runs and how he tests, that could make him move up. You know, look, there's been plenty of LSU players like Jaquelin Roy that maybe didn't have mind-boggling statistics or a whole lot of wow plays that you could put on a highlight tape. And then they go to the NFL like Benny Logan and others and play for a long, long time. We'll see. Do I think he needs to come back for another year?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt in my mind. But
yeah,
I mean, an LSU.
But I know when I talked to Jaquelin in June, he said this is my money year. And so I think he would like to be able to go out this year. But you know, when they submit for his grade, I wonder what will come back.
And you know what? It'll be interesting to see if Brian Kelly can buck that trend, because at LSU it's been the culture. You know, if you're a 7th round draft pick, you go pro early. Yeah, if you're Keyshawn Butte, go pro. You're a 1st round draft pick. Okay, if you're Jaquelin Roy and you're a 4th or 5th rounder, dude, go back to school. Work your way up, get your degree. You don't need to be going pro if you're a 4th or 5th rounder unless you're in desperation.
Chance Babb in Kentucky beat Mississippi State again.
I've seen that, yeah.
When and I'll ask some of you guys in the chat. I know myself, I've never been this interested in the SEC East than I am right now. All of a sudden, the SEC East is a lot more interesting than it has been.
They finally have a pulse.
Yeah, I mean, because you have more teams that actually are playing good football and they can beat each other from week to week.
Remember when Missouri won that division twice? That's rock bottom.
Yeah. Now Tennessee's doing what they're doing legit. Where do they? How high do they go in the polls tomorrow?
Look, I told people while you were doing your upload there, based on resume, if you're ranking them based on what the teams have accomplished, how can you not put Tennessee number 1?
And who would you argue? Who's them in the argument?
Well, you've
based on how they played, what
Ohio
they've done.
State and Georgia. That's it. It's Tennessee, Ohio State, Georgia right now.
I would put Tennessee number 1.
I mean, right?
I've only seen a bits of Ohio State, but I like Tennessee better.
But they won't be because fans are hesitant, and our voters are hesitant, and it is.
They're going to get some first place votes tomorrow.
I always question the AP poll because think about it, Mike. When me and you are in the press box and we're covering the LSU game, how much time do we actually get to sit there and evaluating other teams? Like when we're on days like today where we get to be at home on our couch and flipping the TV channel, we get to see teams a lot better. When you're in the press box, which most of these AP voters are in a press box every week, how much do you actually get to evaluate other teams? Not much. So this AP poll, I don't put too much faith in.
Justin J. Saban is about to die along with Bama football. Bama lost last year, and that will happen next year.
Dude.
And by the way, look what it takes to beat Alabama, though.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we just thought it was going to be a runaway at the end of the first half, and then they come back.
The fact is, to beat Alabama, you have to have a generational team, and still in that game, you have to not only play a very good football game, but then catch a lot of breaks.
And at the end of the game, you're exhaling because you dodged a bullet because it was one thing but
guys, Bama ain't going nowhere. Just deal with it.
Yeah.
I've been hearing that for literally 12 years now.
But good for them. So what do they get? $150,000 fine for tearing down the goalpost?
Worth it. Worth every penny. By the way, if y'all didn't see, they ripped the goalpost down, dragged it 3 miles or whatever the frick you had to drag it to get it out of that stadium, and threw it in the frickin' river. Go Rocky Top, man. Good for y'all. Y'all deserve this.
Peyton Manning was there today.
He was. He smoked cigars at midfield.
He ought to be the one to cut the check for the $150,000.
Why?
He ought to.
Just because he's a good guy?
He ought to just say, I'm paying for it.
All right.
Y'all have fun. Let me help you carry it down the street.
Yeah, I don't think Tennessee has any financial problems. I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, Mark Towery, Ole Miss gave up 34 to Auburn. Ole Miss relied on their run game to win tonight. LSU's defensive strength is against the run. They will at least cover against Ole Miss, and that could definitely win that game. Mark, if LSU pulls that upset against Ole Miss, then all of a sudden LSU is, in my mind, at that point, ahead of schedule of where they should be. And
oh man, so far.
Because now, after what Tennessee did today to Alabama, you never want to lose at home like you did to Tennessee if you're an LSU.
No doubt.
But as the season goes along, everything starts to make a lot more sense. Guys, it doesn't look near as bad because, like Preston just said, is this a generational team for Tennessee? And who's going to get them?
I'm gonna tell you what, I'm kicking myself in the butt knowing the Saints don't have a first-round draft pick. Looking at Hendon Hooker throw that ball, man. God, what are you doing, Mickey Loomis?
Yeah, I'm
rooting for the Bengals tomorrow. Straight up.
I think there's a lot of LSU fans that are, and it drives a lot of hardcore Saints fans who are also LSU fans crazy.
When I talk about there's a big stuff,
there is a big contingent of LSU fans that are kind of half and half Saints fans, or maybe, but most of them are pulling for the Bengals tomorrow.
Well, let's put it like this: how many LSU fans are LSU fans because they spent 4 years walking through the shady halls? You know what I mean? None one of them are Saints fans because they actually went to Saints University.
Brandon Reese, everyone in the West looks vulnerable at this point. Look at the way you look at Arkansas now versus the way you looked at Arkansas a month ago.
They had a good win at BYU today.
What does Texas A&M look like at the end of the year? Do they look like they did against Alabama, or do they look like they did in previous weeks before that?
Look, Bama had a backup quarterback. I think Texas A&M's a joke.
Yeah,
but yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, look, I think Bama and Ole Miss are the cream of the crop in the West, and LSU might be your third best team in the West.
Depending on how it plays out, the LSU A&M game can mean the difference between a bowl game or not a bowl game, or maybe LSU and A&M are vying for similar bowl games, and the loser gets the worst destination.
I mean, Mike, they've got 5 wins right now. You saying they're not going to beat UAB?
No.
I mean, come on, dude. They're going to have at least 7 wins going into that game. Maybe at least 6. Let's put.
Well, I'm talking about now after the Florida win. Had you not got it tonight, you're struggling.
Yeah. Well, they're 5-2. They'll be in a bowl game. They'll be all right.
But if you lose,
like I said, LSU's 8-4 this year. You will not hear anything more consistent than Preston and LSU is 8-4 this season.
Brandon Reese, A&M might end up only winning 5 games this year. Louisiana Saints hurting big time in the defensive secondary. Burrow and Chase could have a great game. Yeah, the Saints are banged up right now.
We'll see. The Bengals offensive line can't freaking block a soul, and I don't think what's his name's play calling helps at all.
ASARAC, LSU is a public university, which means every resident of Louisiana contributes towards it. The Saints are a private organization, and you only contribute if you actually go. Well, no, you don't, ASARAC. There's a lot of tax dollars.
I'm about to say a lot of, but usually the tax dollars goes toward the stadium, not necessarily the team.
No,
itself.
but they've got tax breaks for their facilities, and I'm sure there's some property.
Let's put it like this though: the University of LSU impacts a lot more Louisiana people than the Saints do. Like, you're educating 30,000 kids a year.
Sandy Ridge, LSU fans, it's coming. I look forward to these conversations in 2 years. Patience. Sandy, I think I'm with you. I think 2 years is where you really start to say, once they get LSU's got a top 5 recruiting class right now. Get more kids healthy. get more buy-in. You get another year in the strength and conditioning program under this staff. Still think they're going to need a little bit of portal help on top of the high school kids this class.
How much portal help do you think, though?
Well, do you end up at 26, 27 high school, and then do you go portal 32, 31, 32?
I've got sources telling me 28 to 30 at a minimum.
Yeah, but that was 6 weeks ago.
Well,
I think it's different now.
I'd be shocked if they land below that, though. Just looking at the numbers of this team and who you're going to lose, I'd be shocked.
But how many portal kids?
At least like 4 or 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to see like 20 like this last year.
They need to start nuts next week. Von Bluesman, don't count Bam out. When Young is healed up all the way, Saban will let him run with the ball like he always does. Man, he made some plays today.
Dude, shut up. He played like a baller today.
That's what I'm saying. He made some plays today, dude. I mean,
that's got to say, remember when Bama fans were saying Tua wasn't 100% against LSU in 2019 and he threw for like 400 yards? Come on, man.
Yeah, and that's just what we were saying earlier. To beat Alabama, what kind of game you have to play?
Oh, no doubt.
Family Man 617, they're going to have to replace most of the secondary. Portal will definitely be utilized next season. Yeah, the question is, though, if your total class between high school signees and transfer portals, what is the breakdown? Is the total number 33? And is it 26, 27 high school kids and 6 portal kids? Or is it, what is that breakdown going to look like? I think they're going to get a portal running back. I think there's a big case for a portal quarterback if you can get one. Because if Jaden Daniel leaves, you're with a redshirt sophomore in Nussmeier, not knowing what he's going to do. You're going to end up with a redshirt freshman in Walker Howard and a true freshman in Ricky Collins. TNT Tiger, Coach Zero Crapid Orgeron wants to go recruit for that dude at Notre Dame. If he hires him, he better watch his back.
They had the same thing they were talking about Coach O going to Miami. I think Coach O's just living life, y'all.
I've been hearing from Lafayette folks that they want Coach Orgeron to take over the ULL Raging Cajuns.
That would be the perfect fit for him. I mean, when I say perfect, I said that before he took the LSU job. Like, ULL would be perfect for Coach O.
I don't know what they were thinking and what they did post Napier. Palermo Trapani, really? So Saban is playing players who are hurt now and are not healthy to play.
That sounds like someone's trying to stir the pot and get Saban in the Mike McDaniels bus there.
Let's get back on track here in the time we've got left, Preston. Wrapping up again, this LSU win over Florida. What an effort by Jaden Daniels. I mean, just look at the box score. 528 yards of total offense, 179 rushing, 349 in the air. The penalties were not bad for LSU, 5 for 30. That's still, there's been some games that were a lot worse than that. 26 first downs to 19 for Florida, 8 for 12 on third down. That was great. And what about those 2 fourth down gets? They were 2 for 2 on fourth down, a biggie one there at the end. And average yards per play, 7.5. And Williams for LSU was the leading rusher with 106 yards, but Jaden Daniels in a 349-yard passing night, and absolutely fantastic. 3 touchdowns throwing and 3 touchdowns rushing.
You scored on 7 of 8 drives tonight, y'all. Great offensive performance.
Absolutely. Guys, if you enjoyed the show, hit the like button. Please do that. Please share it. Preston's going to be live on Tuesday night with his show at 8:00, and Buddy Sanji and I will be live again Wednesday night with our TigerBait live show at 8:00. Brian Kelly on Monday. Got a lot of recruiting stuff coming your way. got some good stuff on the front page of TigerBait.com right now on the recruiting front. And I'm working on a war room, the return of the war room. I hope to have one out early to mid-week. I'm about a third of the way through it right now. I'm about to do an entire recruiting reset on the 23, 24, and even maybe a little 25 recruiting. So I'm about to give you I'm probably going to go 1,500 words on this thing. It's going to be pretty big with a pretty line items at every position. So be on the lookout for that on TigerBait.com. Go subscribe. We want to have you as a part of our community. $1, you can try us out for a week. And on the back end, do yourself a favor. Choose the annual package versus the monthly. You're essentially getting 3 months free when you do that. And Brian Kelly's post game is already up on our YouTube channel. So when we end the show, you can go check that out. Also have Billy Napier's post game up on our YouTube channel. You can watch both of them. And we'll be on the Tiger Den message board tomorrow and rolling out some updates early in the week. So anything you want to add, Preston?
Guys, I'll see y'all Tuesday night. I will ask Glenn if he's willing to do it. I do like Glenn personally a lot, so I might be a little softer on him than I should because he's a good guy. He's really funny. But anyways, that might be my final show I do for TigerBait before I become a father.
Absolutely, guys. So keep Preston and Alyssa in your thoughts in a safe delivery, and everything goes well. And we'll be talking about a baby boy here soon. So, all right, guys, good night. Thanks to all you guys tuning in, and we'll see you on the other side. Good night.
Appreciate y'all.